Hello and welcome to my general review of the Kubota W821SC. It's a self-propelled commercial 21-inch lawnmower. I suppose the first thing that everyone would sort of think with this mower is that it's a Honda 216 clone, and I would disagree with that generally. The Honda retails at about $1,800, so then this Kubota retails for, well, I think almost a solid $1,000 more at the moment. I'm just going from a Australian standard or US Australian dollar pricing. The reason why I say it's not a clone and an upgrade is significant improvements to the body and its general durability, which I'll run through shortly. But runs the same Honda GXV160 as the 216 and most of Honda's mowers. Comes with the blade brake as well, same as the 216. Self-propelled shaft drive. I believe the components are from the 216, so it shares a whole bunch of the Honda components, which is excellent for maintenance. But otherwise, Kubota have just significantly uprated the body of the thing. I suppose the first thing that everyone would see about this mower is it's, I guess the word would be Americanized, and they've gone with the 4-point height adjust, which is a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, but in all seriousness, I don't adjust that many times when I'm actually mowing like a single residence. And in one of the videos that I'll include later, I mean, you can see how long it takes me to height adjust 4 points, and I think it is 10 seconds. So for the 10 seconds that it takes to adjust the height whilst you're operating, it truly is not a deal breaker in respect to picking up one of these mowers versus another. I've had this thing since, well, maybe 2 years. It's a 2019 model. There you can see made in Japan, mass 62 kilos, a solid lump of weight to be pushing around, but I guess that's why it's self-propelled. I upgraded to this from a Honda 196 Buffalo Pro, which was a brilliant mower, just not self-propelled. I'll run through some of the features that I guess make this a bit more commercial or utility mower on top of the 216, and then whether or not you think those features are necessary is, you know, a matter for yourself, I guess, and whether or not you want to fork out extra money for a brand new one. The first and most obvious thing would be just the straight up steel brush bar at the front of this thing. Like, you're not going to be hitting the body or damaging the body of this thing, contacting trees or undergrowth wherever you shove it. The wheels themselves are cast aluminium ball bearing wheels. Like, they're significantly better in respect to durability than the Honda's wheels. Like, I mean, that alone is quite possibly like half the additional cost. I mean, this mower has seen, I would say, pretty solid use of 5 years old, and you can see like the tread of these things is not worn. I've been running this mower today for about 2 or 3 hours, and it was dusty as, so I've given it just a general hose, but when it's clean, the orange shines pretty well and the tyres look quite new. Another sort of durability component that Kubota advertises is that these steel protection plates that stop you from, I guess, ruining the actual body of the mower if you sort of drop it down like concrete ledges or anything like that. In a video you will see later, I have to take this up and down some stone steps where the body contacts occasionally, and it's good to know that, I mean, just those replaceable steel pieces are taking the brunt of the impact and not the actual body of the mower. The mower body itself is cast aluminium, I think, which is nice, like no rust. I want to say I think, I'm almost positive. I'll just have to double check the spec sheets, but I mean, I'm at the beach, you can hear the beaches, like the waves in the background, perhaps, over the wind. But yeah, like, not having to worry about rust is brilliant, or not worrying about it in the body of the mower, especially when you get this wet grass that might sit up there for days. The handlebars of this thing, or the bar system of this, longer than the 216 by a fraction, and then additionally braced, so there's like no movement. Like this additional piece here is not included on the 216. I think even where like where it bolts up to the body is a significant improvement on the 216s. Kubota only went for a 2-speed self-propelled system, so it is just turtle or rabbit. The speeds I think are basically the same as the Honda 216's fast and slow, but I couldn't tell you what they are now, because when you increase the RPM of these motors, which I think every contractor does, from their sort of standard revs to up to I think about 3,400 might be what this is at the moment, it changes the propulsion speed. So basically what I would call them is moderate walk and fast walk. Underneath the mower, we'll have a quick look at the cutting deck. Just got your disc carrier, your 4 swing back blades. Where this varies too, I don't know if you can see it, just above the blade carrier you've got this little splined sort of finned disc. Kubota have included that. I think they sort of say that it increases turbulence, or I guess turbulence might be the word, underneath the deck, improving sort of flow through of the airspeed of grass getting thrown out the back here. Now the chute at the back, it's quite a wide chute, I mean over half the size of the exit. I've never really had a problem with it blocking or getting gunked up. The catcher carrier system I think is exactly the same as the Honda mower. I mean this one has the whatever it is, like the shade cloth fabric bag around the wire frame, which visually is very similar to the Honda mowers. Has 7 mowing heights marked on the body, which is brilliant. Lowest cutting height 22mm, highest cutting height 82mm. I think on the rear here it doesn't let you drop the rear of the deck to the lowest cutting height. They've got it blocked off. I'm assuming it just sort of actually doesn't work, so you have it tilted or raked slightly forward, because you can get the front down to number 1, but the rear will only go to 2, so give you a slight rake, which I guess perhaps allows it to actually cut that smidge lower, with the front just a fraction lower. I don't know, I've never really bothered to cut too much on different heights. Different sources say that, you know, it helps with cutting wet grass if your front is slightly lower and the rear is raised, I think, or is it vice versa, front's higher? I don't know, I'm just never really bothered. I just change all 4. I'm usually cutting reasonably well maintained lawns. I'll run through the bag and the other parts that come with it. The bag is the same as, I think the 216. Just slots straight up. And there's your bag in place. I think they market this at 75 litres, as you can see. Just recently I damaged the bottom of mine, and with the bottom clip, so it's all zip tied together until I find a replacement. I am hoping that, even though I think this is a 75 litre bag, I'm hoping the Honda 216's bag, which is 70 litres, will just fit right on, because I'm not sure what my luck will be getting a Kubota bag at sort of the cheaper rates that you get the Honda bags. This is the Kubota Mulch plug. I can see why it's quite utility, like there's no dropping this and getting damaged, but it's also like a bit of a pain in the butt compared to just the clip-in systems that the Honda mowers run. This thing requires small rubber insert to be put in just right. Sits, there we go, just like that. And then the plastic plug gets jammed in on top of it. So if you don't have both, it won't work. Pull this plastic piece out, pull the rubber out. Put the mulch plug in, and it sits, but it's actually sitting within striking distance of the blade. So even if I was to shut the rear flap here to sort of hold it up, it's still in the impact zone of the blades, and it will touch them, and then it will just randomly fall out the back too. So yeah, while it is I guess far more durable than sort of the plastic ones, I've never really heard of anyone breaking their mulch plugs for their 216s. They all seem to just get lost. And in this situation, Kubota have made two parts to get lost, which is a little bit more frustrating. And this is probably my favourite bit of kit that comes with, doesn't come with it, Kubota sell it, you buy it additionally. So the mower itself comes with just, I didn't think that through, comes with just a bag, and then you buy, I think, the mulching and discharge kit. So obviously you can just discharge like everybody does with the Honda and just leave the rear flap down, but I find that just leaves just clumps of grass on the ground behind you, and it's not nearly as good a look. Whereas this discharge flap sits just on the lip right over the discharge port, and then held down by the rear flap, and there's your side throw discharge, straight from the body straight out. I find it brilliant. I've got a video that I'll chapter, so you can sort of skip to it, so you don't have to watch the rest of the nonsense. And you can see it side throwing. I think the side throwing on this thing is excellent. And I suppose, like, what I do like about it is it side throws it like a perfect sort of 90 degrees, whereas my utility mowers will come far more out, or what is it, like at a 45 degree angle or whatever. So when I go to turn, I'll side throw crap over, I guess, or behind me, which I find a little frustrating, whereas this, you can just continue to box it up into a nice little square, which you'll see in the video later that I have. In terms of how this thing operates, it is, as far as I'm aware, exactly the same as the 216, in that you push down the safety button or whatever, engage the rear lever, which is the blade brake, and then the front lever engages the drive. Very straightforward. I'm not sure if the 216 has the additional bracing there actually as well, but neither here nor there. A positive or a negative depending on how you are. Like, this fits on my mower pad just fine, but when I put this in the shed, like, the bars obviously do not fold. This thing takes up, like, has a solid footprint inside a shed. Depending on the shed you had, like, you could put it right in and put things in behind it, other mowers in behind it, and two mowers in the same footprint. Just the way my shed orientates, like, this thing is generally in the way, which is why I do plan on moving it on and maintaining just my mulch master, and then I think I might transition to like a battery ego model, just something simple like that, because I'm operating in small yards and a lot require up and down steps, and this thing is, well, I mean, as you can see, it says there, its mass is 62 kilo. It's a prick of a thing to lift. There is no joy to be had trying to muscle this up or down steps, and some yards I have, like, there can be a good 4 to 5 stories difference between the street level and the backs of their yards. So this mower just gets less and less use. I mean, even the Mulch Master comes in, I think 43 kilos, so almost 20 kilo lighter. Just even pushing that around is a massive difference. I mean, I've been running this today, so it's not going to be much to show in respect to starting it, but like every Honda, the thing starts when it should start. No blade running, and then that's not a problem with the mower, that's a problem with the RPM increase, and I just haven't bothered to actually fix a little adjustment in there so that when the throttle is stopped it turns off. Sometimes it will just drop to a very low idle and sometimes it will turn off, so it's not been an issue that I really care about. Anyway, there it is. If you're contemplating picking one of these up versus a 216 and you want to splurge, I think this thing will outlast the 216 generally, but might be a bit of a moot point when many people's 216s are lasting them 10, 15 years. Like, what's an extra 5 years, you know, in the scheme of things? But if you're someone that's just, well, you've got an employee that just absolutely throws their tools around or abuses the absolute life out of their tools, perhaps this might be the tool for them, because this thing will, I think, cop a fair bit more than a 216, and there's, you know, less fatigue on the bars, less fatigue because, well, the bars don't fold, so straight into it. Something I didn't really discuss is the extra length on these things. If you've got a lot of tight yards, which I've got, the length can be a bit of a pain in the butt. You just got to sort of manage with your whipping, and then you might have to sort of maneuver back and forth or turn around to get the mower into the right spot. But the distance you are back from it, pretty good. I like it. I like being a good distance back from the mower. It's mower height sort of right on my belly button for the handlebars, which I think is an excellent distance. You can hold side or on top depending on your preference, and there's sort of no real major fatigue issues. Same as on this side, even with the safety button for the blade brake to start. But, yeah, not sure what else there is in the videos coming up. I suppose another thing that I'll point out just now, like Kubota sort of went, you know, would you say peak utility? You know, they did everything they could to uprate the body, but the one thing that they didn't uprate was the air filter. Like, I think I would have really liked to see a snorkel included in this. You know, snorkels were included in Victors from the 50 years ago. Honda, like this motor itself, came with a snorkel kit for a period of time. Like a lot of the old Buffalo Pros will have a snorkel. I think it makes a huge difference. Like, I've clogged this filter with dirt like 3 or 4 times, and it's possibly there again now, because when I just started it up I saw like a bit more black smoke than I would like to. And that's, I suppose, one good thing about this bumper bar is it's a little bit of an indicator of when you're starting to choke up the air filter, because you get a bit more black smoke and it builds up there. But I mean, I think other contractors would probably agree that having the air filter here just right next to the body, and there are days when you can be just mowing dead grass, but it is dirt. Oh, there you go. Yeah, chockers and shit. Brilliant. I mean, it's fine, we'll clean that later, but we'll paint the house. Well, then put a snorkel in and save that from occurring. Like, I'm not breathing that in when I'm standing at the bars, and the mower wouldn't be breathing it in either if the filter and the air feed were up there. Like the distance of the bars would be over 1 metre. You could 1.5 metres from the engine, and you know, maybe a 80, 90 centimetres off the ground instead of 40, 20, 30, I don't know. Anyway, overall, the mower itself, beautiful mower. Sounds exactly like every other Honda mower, so you know, you can't get picked when you're running it from running any other sort of Honda equipment. Just is orange instead of boring grey and red. And yeah, up to you whether or not you consider the utility of these. I mean, you can see the wheels again. Back to the wheels. The wheels are solid. They're a brilliant design. There you go. This one's just off the ground. Yeah, I reckon like that alone is worth the additional cost. I reckon just the peace of mind that you're not going to shag a wheel, or shear a wheel, like shear the tread off the actual body of the wheel. Worth it. Worth the peace of mind. You see the back, good solid cast wheel, and the rears are the same. Anyway, I'll include in the video just a video of it catching. You can see that it cuts nicely, I reckon, on some reasonably overgrown buffalo. The buffalo in the video is over a month between cuts. And then I'll show it in mulching. Obviously I think it does a worse job than the Mulch Master, but it's still fine. And then the yard that I did the mulching in is probably not one that should have been mulched. It has just a whole bunch of crap from Banksia trees, Banksia seed pods, Banksia leaves, and even when they're mulched they still sort of persist and just look awful. And then a good little video of side discharging a yard. Now, don't judge how I left it. The house is previous clients of mine that's about to go through a DA for a complete knockdown rebuild, so I'm not particularly fussed about finishing off the edges, especially when I'm not getting paid. Anyway, any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. But there is the Kubota W821SC.